Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. These videos take a long time to make, so subscribing and liking the video would help a lot. But if you aren't that certain about it, I promise I'll win your subscription over by the end of the video. Originally, I planned on focusing on the pros and cons of the TikTok algorithm and algorithms in general. However, given the recent TikTok ban, which most of you are already aware of, I've decided to adjust my video a bit. Sorry I'm still late on the topic, I needed to gather my thoughts on the matter before making a video. Since the breakdown of my video into sections from my book talk video worked so successfully, I've decided to do it again. Part 1 is about before the ban, looking at the TikTok algorithm, answering what the pros and cons are, why is it so enjoyable, and why is it so bad for you. Part 2 is about graphs, looking at what graphs the algorithm uses and what are the pros and cons. How is it different from other social media platforms? Part 3 is about your data. Does TikTok take your data, and what data is mined? Part 4 is about the TikTok ban, looking at what is the ban, what happened, and the 2020 TikTok ban jump scare. Part 5 is about TikTok now, looking at censorship of certain things and how it has changed, how it's putting you into categories. Part 6 is about the people. What do the people have to say about the ban? What about the TikTok algorithm? Have you ever wondered why TikTok seems to know exactly what you like? Whether it's cute cats, satisfying videos, or arcane edits, TikTok's For You page almost feels a little too personal. Credit for that goes to the magic and controversy over the TikTok algorithm. What is the TikTok algorithm? According to Backstage, the TikTok's algorithm has been lauded for its accuracy, with the impressive and sometimes unsettling personalization it offers every TikTok account. Essentially, it's a recommendation system that decides what content gets displayed on your For You page by analyzing your behavior on the app. This looks at past user behavior, content relevance, and popularity of posts. This personalization could be why you can be stuck seeing brain rot Minecraft parkour videos while your friend can be seeing endless true crime. TikTok's For You page is highly curated for each user, designed to keep you scrolling, because more screen time equals more money for them. Personalization of content can be good for the consumer because the algorithm will pick up on what videos you engage with the most, therefore making your experience more enjoyable. A lot of social media platforms have an algorithm. For instance, if you're watching this on YouTube or listening to the podcast on Spotify, shout out to the podcast The Brawn Buzz, there are a lot of videos specifically breaking down that media's algorithm. Now, TikTok is not the only one credited for an algorithm. Most platforms like YouTube and Instagram have their own types. Think of it as a viral equation. The more the platform knows about you and your preferences, the more addictive the content becomes. Now, TikTok stands out because of the speed and precision it has to do this for each user. Okay, so now we know why we see so many videos of the same genre, but how is TikTok so addictive? Ever heard of dopamine? WebMD describes it as, dopamine plays a big role in your reward system. When you do something that feels good, your brain releases a rush of dopamine. You naturally seek more of that good feeling by repeating the behavior that made you feel good. TikTok takes advantage of this by offering a constant stream of dopamine hits. Each time you swipe, the app delivers a new video tailored just for your taste, creating a cycle of instant gratification. No wonder people my generation get hooked so easily. This endless scroll feature keeps users engaged indefinitely. The short-form content ensures you're constantly receiving bite-sized entertainment. Rapid bursts of entertainment from TikTok activates your brain's reward system much like a gambling or a drug addiction. Studies from WebMD indicate that, over time, social media can lead to a decreased attention span as users get used to these 20-second videos, and increased dependence on digital stimulation. Infinite scrolling is a passive activity, and this is because you're socially disconnected from others and you're just lurking in the background. So, is the TikTok algorithm a technological marvel or a dangerous tool? Both. Now, while it's incredible at delivering content it knows you will love, it comes with some ethical concerns around addiction, misinformation, and censorship. So, next time you're scrolling at 2 a.m., ask yourself, who's really controlling what you see. What makes each social media platform unique is how they are built on different types of algorithms, and how they each structure and prioritize content in different ways. The TikTok algorithm doesn't rely on just one graph, rather, it relies on more. Its primary graph is an interest graph, and its secondary is a social graph. Following that, there's a content and an engagement graph. I won't go too deep into this now because I could go on a rant about this. But in order to understand algorithms more, I have a video coming out where I break them all down into their respective sections. But for now, I'll zone into the two most important and primary ones, the interest and the social graph. According to the shelf, an interest graph is an algorithm that focuses on building the feed by analyzing the various interests, preferences, and behaviors of the individual users on the platform. A social graph, on the other hand, functions a little differently. The shelf describes this as the social graph is an algorithm that prioritizes social media feeds to display content from the people and topics / hashtags followed by the user. Basically, an interest graph looks at content based on your behavior and preferences, where a social graph is from the people you follow. Unlike other social media platforms like Facebook or Instagram, which have their primary graph as a social graph, TikTok prioritizes an interest graph because the platform would rather promote content discovery based on user preferences rather than personal connections. This is why there are two separate feeds. There's a For You page and a Friends page. So on the Friends page, you can catch up with all of your friends, but For You page, you get your, personalized content. It's genius. So what do you think? Does TikTok's approach using personalized content over social content benefit the consumer? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your opinions. Let's talk about your data, and I mean you. Have you ever wondered just how much TikTok knows about you? Spoiler, it's more than you think. From location and search history to how much time you interact with a video, TikTok is constantly tracking your every move. But is this a security threat or just another case of social media doing what it does? Let's break it down. I'll keep it brief because this is something that can get complicated really quickly. But the big question is, what data does TikTok actually collect? In consideration to all social media platforms, they all take your data. Simple things like your public information that you use to sign up for stuff, email addresses, phone number, full name, date of birth, and information that could be used in your profile picture or in your username are given to the platform. Some sites even collect your financial information depending on if you spend money on the platform or not, to buy goods or make donations. It also collects your interactions on the app, like I mentioned earlier. How much time you spend with a video, what you react to, like, comments, favorites, etc., as well as other things. But this information requires your permission to access, like your precise location. But the purpose of collecting this data is to make your social stream reflect you as a user. In the ongoing TikTok ban debate with the United States, the primary worry was that the US security argument against TikTok starts with the simple concern that large amounts of user data could end up in China, where it could ultimately fall into the hands of the country's ruling Communist Party. So, is TikTok an actual national threat? For politics, it's still up for debate. While some experts believe the government's fears about foreign intelligence and government spies are valid, there's still no public evidence to back it up. Now, with the topic of the Chinese government spies, it's worth noting that TikTok doesn't even operate in China. The app's parent company, ByteDance, is Chinese, but TikTok itself is run by, or used to be, by a Singaporean CEO. You've seen the clips. Let's roll them.
What nation are you a citizen?
Singapore.
Are you a citizen of any other nation?
No, Senator.
Have you ever applied for Chinese citizenship?
Senator, I served my nation
I'm
in
asking-
Singapore. No, I did not.
Do you have a Singaporean passport?
Yes, and I served my military for two and a half years in
Do you
Singapore.
have any other passports from any other nation?
No, Senator.
Have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?
Senator, I'm Singaporean. No.
Have you ever been associated or affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party?
No, Senator. Again, I'm
Okay.
Singaporean.
Let me ask you some.
Connecting back to our main issue, are these concerns valid? Honestly, it's up for personal interpretation. Do I think they're stealing your data? Yes and no. But TikTok requires your data to curate a personalized For You page and for ads. So, yes. But so does every other social media platform. Am I personally gonna stop using TikTok because of this? Oh, hell no. I'm addicted. At the end of the day, just like any other app, TikTok collects your data to optimize your ads curated for the viewer, video, and other services. When you sign up, you already hand over a ton of personal information, and TikTok just collects this for metadata and moderation and demographic analysis. Plus, internet cookies improve browsing performance. But whether that's a privacy nightmare or just a standard social media behavior is up for you to decide. Was a TikTok ban about politics, strategy, or something darker? If you remember, back in August of 2020, in President Trump's first term, he issued an executive order citing national security concerns over TikTok's data collection practices and the ownership of ByteDance, a Chinese-owned company. Now, at the time, TikTok had been downloaded 175 million times in the US, collecting user data like location, browsing history. In theory, this allowed the Chinese Communist Party to have access to American personnel property and information, allowing for the potential of China to track federal employees. The USA wasn't the only one worried about TikTok. According to White House archives, the Department of Homeland Security, Transportation Security Administration, and the United States Armed Forces have already banned the use of TikTok on federal government phones. The government of India recently banned the use of TikTok and other Chinese mobile applications throughout the country. In a statement, India's Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology asserted that they were stealing and surreptitiously, I don't know how to say that, transmitting users' data in an unauthorized manner to services which have locations outside India. American companies and organizations have begun banning TikTok on their devices. What's really crazy to think about is that this was in Trump's first term, meaning he was planning on doing this earlier. Thankfully, federal judges blocked this move because it failed to consider reasonable alternatives. What really sparks interest for me is the coincidence of how close the ban was to Trump's return to office. Fast forward to January 2025, after TikTok went dark and this image popped up. What's insane is the message stating we are fortunate that President Trump will work to find a solution. The shout out is crazy, and the fact this was going to all Americans who got the ban. What changed? The deal and speculation during this feud, Trump claimed to give TikTok a longer time to find a new approved American co-owner and buyer. Now, what would be an approved buyer? Considering this was during the first day in Trump's second term, the buyer would be based on Trump. Speculation arose that a major tech company could be behind the deal, but there still is no confirmed buyer. There was a mass flood to Xiaohongshu or RedNote. Even I migrated over and I still have it on my phone. Go follow me, by the way. As soon as TikTok was back and restored 12 hours after the ban, this lovely message popped up that just yells sketchy. Along with this was a message sent by Trump on Truth Social saying, and I quote, "Save TikTok." Well, isn't that ironic? Don't you remember when I mentioned him talking about banning TikTok earlier in 2020? What changed his mind? If you ask me, I think it's because of the breach of audience TikTok gave him. And that's why he considers it a good thing. And it also got him more followers. He wants to keep it. Also, I think he made a deal with TikTok over running the company so he can use his influence about what's being put up to see user information. My reason for this will be explained and looked to into the next section, but that's just my own speculation. Overall, it's an insane tactic move by both TikTok and Trump. After the ban, TikTok was removed from Apple and Google App Stores. But now it's back with a 90-day extension to find a new owner. The risky thing here is a lot of TikTok users are in America, meaning if they don't sell, a huge portion of TikTok's user base will disappear. On the other hand, if they do sell, that means TikTok won't have an influence by a Chinese company anymore, which really puts into question what do they care more about, user amount or ownership. In regards to Trump's interaction with this, reportedly, after White House advisors persuaded him to hold off on banning TikTok outright because of the possible legal and political repercussions, Trump subsequently agreed to put on a 40-day hold on any action against TikTok to allow ByteDance to divest the platform to Microsoft, or should a deal with the tech company not materialize, another American corporation. This rapid turnaround has led to the speculation about Trump's involvement and whether the ban itself was a strategic move, and with TikTok's fate still uncertain, many people are left questioning whether this saga was about security, politics, or something else entirely. Since TikTok has returned, many users, including myself, have noticed something feels off. The algorithm seems broken, with videos repeating in the same scrolling sessions, live streams vanishing, ads not really there anymore, and curated content feeling inconsistent. Not only that, but the For You page feels less personalized and less engaging. In some ways, it's losing its magic that made it so addictive. I don't personally use TikTok for news, but some of my friends do, and they've noticed that important topics which were once easy to find have become harder to share. It's almost as if TikTok is operating with a hidden agenda, making it feel more restrictive than ever before. When the platform was giving dates on going dark, creators started the one last thing I have to tell you trend, which exposed a majority of creators, making the comeback that much more awkward. Let's roll the clips.
Since we're all gonna die, there's one more secret I feel I have to share with you. I did not care for The Godfather.
What?
Did not care for The Godfather. Since we're all gonna die, there's one more secret I feel I have to share with you. I did not care for The Godfather.
What?
Did not care for The Godfather.
After TikTok returned, not only was there awkwardness with these famous creators and their entire community and platform just broken apart because of this trend, there was an unsettling uncertainty, knowing that the platform could really disappear at any moment. That left a really strange void with the community. The atmosphere felt different, especially for the influencers who built their career on it. It's hard to believe that this is all just a coincidence. I mean, the US government has already explored the impact of social media with political leaders in order to shape public opinion. That's likely why Trump reinstated TikTok in the first place. Now, even outside the app, censorship seems to be creeping in. I was searching for banned books, and the search bar corrected to banned banners. That's not what I searched for. Now, what else happened? When I was searching for gay rights, it autocorrected as well. Now, if we look at this video real quick, I want you to look at what I'm seeing. Let's roll the clips. It makes you wonder, are certain topics being quietly suppressed? For a country that prides itself on being free, that's a really concerning thought. Now, we're going to look at Reddit and Twitter to go more in depth. I was curious at what the people had to say on the matter, so let's get into it. Alright, okay, so does anyone feel like TikTok had to relearn their algorithm when it started working again? So just random stuff, yeah, so also with this was like, when you search stuff, there's a lot of censorship, and there's also like porn, literally everywhere on the app, which is a little concerning considering the amount of minors that are on the app. What percentage? So look, just 90 to 95% of teenagers use social media. We're looking at the statistics of like the amount of porn that's on that app, which is just really unsettling. TikTok doesn't feel the same. I used to enjoy going on TikTok to watch hilarious and engaging videos that would show up on my For You page, and now my For You page feels so stale and boring after the app went dark. It sucks because it was such a great app, but now I feel like it's watered down. So it also, like refreshing and everything, it feels so weird. Like, my content, definitely, if you interacted with something, like, and you scrolled a couple times, and you kept interacting, like, that's what my feed was gonna be. Like, I was stuck in a Peter Griffin with, like, Chinese subtitles for a while. But, like, none of that has popped up. My For You page feels all over the place, and also with, like, the censorship of certain topics being searched is really giving me the ick personally. Like, what do you mean? I swear algorithm got nerfed after the first time ByteDance was put in the congressional hot seat. Before that, I'd get content that seemed so precise for my mentality and interests. Even after, it just felt like the YouTube algorithm. Like, the YouTube algorithm is also kind of bad. Not really, I kind of like, shout out Kathy, isn't that her name? I don't really remember. But it's just, like, it's crazy. TikTok's not censoring Republicans like they did under Biden, but now it's the opposite. If you don't like it, we didn't like it either. It'll be okay, just an app with a phone that you're addicted to and can't live without. Republicans weren't censored. Actually, I need to look into more of this because Republicans were not censored at all. Like, I know you could search about Trump all the fucking time. Like, when you used to, like, TikTok when Biden was still in charge. But, like, you can't search, like, Trump rigged election. Isn't that sketchy? Like, there's stuff you have to say in order to get around that, which is like, it's the algorithm. You shouldn't have to do that. Does anyone else's TikTok feel different now? I used to be so addicted, scrolling all day and night. After the ban, it feels different, almost boring. Though, like, the praising thing, I agree with this. Like, the Trump's praise changed my view. Besides, I'm more productive with my, like, the amount of praise that Trump got about how he's the hero when he originally wanted TikTok to be banned in the first place. Like, pick a side, make it make sense, because this definitely sounds like a political strategy, and I have a video on Trump and just Elon Musk in general. Like, if you've seen what his kids have been saying, it's been fucking insane. Like, when Elon Musk's kid that was told Trump to shut up and also said that, like, you're not the president, I'm making a video on Trump because I can't. It's insane. How has TikTok changed after the US ban? So, there's a reason all these billionaire tech bros were at the inauguration. Yeah, there were like 4. They were like all together. Disconnect and buckle up. Yeah. Fuck, what's his name? Mark Zuckerberg? Shit's been crazy with that guy. I don't even know what he's up to. Am I the only one who thinks TikTok is the same as it was before the ban? So, I'm looking at both sides. I see a lot of people saying their TikTok has been off since they came back. But I haven't seen any Meta or Trump videos hardly, excluding the videos of people in my niche speaking about the topic. The TikTok algorithm has its pros and cons. The TikTok's ban and return wasn't just about data privacy, but also highlighted how much power social media platforms and governments have over our digital lives. Whether TikTok stays forever or eventually goes, one thing remains clear. We need to stay aware of who controls what we see online. Now, what videos are still in the works? Well, I'm glad you asked. Now, I have a TikTok mental health video that's coming out soon. I'm working on the harms of promoting fake content, like health ideas onto TikTok. I'm debating doing that one. I have a video on the social graphs, which will be around 15 minutes. It's really short. I might do another Skyrim video just to lighten everything up because I love video games. I used to be like a streamer before this, so going back to that. There's also the 2 books that I've been talking about, Haunting Adeline and Ends With Us. Ends With Us, I'm gonna have the movie too. So far reading those, pretty good, besides the fact that they're those books. There's one more book I'm thinking about reading, and it also means I'm gonna watch the show, Haunting Adeline, if you've heard about it. I read it in English this semester, and it had me thinking. It's a banned book too, which I'm thinking I might do a series on banned books just because of how crazy it is. Like Lord of the Flies, Handmaid's Tale, which the Handmaid's Tale, it's crazy. I could go on a rant about this, but it's really interesting why it's banned. Like, the ideas in the book, like, if you've read it, the ideas in the book and why it's banned, it makes sense that Trump banned it. Like, I get it. I see why. It's ironic. Thank you for joining me on this search into the algorithm. The link to the resources I used will be down in the description, and if you enjoy, please consider subscribing and liking. It helps out a ton, and I also encourage you to check out my other content. So, what do you think? Was the ban about security, politics, or something else entirely? Drop your thoughts below. Stay safe, I'll see you in the next one. Love you guys, and bye-bye everyone.